the shoulder for good measure.
Revenge on this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Today. This one the other way. It's still going back. That's the drag. Walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt three right on the money.
Takes his shot for Darby. Flag out. Doesn't matter. Touchdown.
What is up, my Pitchfork Lunch peeps? Welcome into Thirsty Thursday's edition of Pitchfork Lunch. I am Michael Caratonito at Diablo00 on X, artist formerly known as the Twitter. You guys know it. You love it. And you can check out the show live there every day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 1. Also, do not forget, you can go to the wonderful world of the IG, as the kids say, and check out the show there, too, as you just go to michael.caratonito.5. So add a dot between the first and last name and then .5. Well, the symbol. And yeah, you can go there, check it out as well. And then, guys, YouTube. I know I remind you every day, and forks up to the new YouTube subscribers. Greatly appreciated. I do remind you every day that you can watch live on YouTube, which is awesome. But you want to go there and you want to check out, you want to subscribe to the channel because you have missed a ton, multiple tons, infinite tons of just Sun Devil amazingness, a plethora of phenomenal con reviews. That you have missed with coaches, whether it's coaches, players, voices, insiders, alum, all that phenomenalness, and a wonderful athletic director who, again, should be having on very soon. Yeah, you've missed season 1 and season 2, but you can binge watch season 1, keep watching season 3 here. Then, a little bit of break from binging, and then binge watch season 2. And then as we enter, fall semester ended, graduation's happening. CJ Fight forks up, man. Like we said, congratulations. He walked yesterday. He graduated yesterday, so forks up to that. But absolutely awesome. But yes, go to YouTube though. My point is subscribe. As now we have to have the graduate CJ Fight back on the show. Go to YouTube and subscribe, and you'll be all caught up. And again, going in and through around Sun Devil Nation, absolutely phenomenal, as you guys know, that are here. So go to YouTube. You know how to get there. My name, Michael Carrottenuto, but the page is at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, guys, and subscribe, because, like I said, there's a lot of amazingness there. So yes, you will. You can greatly enjoy it, and any thoughts, again, you can hit me up at Diablo00. Comments on the show are always welcome too. And you can hit me up, like I said, at Diablo00 on X, Michael.Carrottenuto.5 on the good old IG. YouTube, subscribe to the channel at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Champ 005, and everybody is good to go. Well, last night's game for the men's hoops, UCLA. Did you guys get to watch? I mean, they would get down, they would charge back, they would get down, they would charge back. But inevitably, UCLA just ended up pulling away in the end, 90-77 is the final, stops the 3-game win streak that the Devils had going. And yeah, 90-77 the final, and man, it's just it's tough that you don't watch season 3 here. Then a little bit of break from vision, and then binge watch season 2 as we enter fall semester ended, graduation's happening. CJ Fight forks up, man. Like we said, congratulations. He walked yesterday. So yeah, I mean, it's man, it was such a roller coaster of a game. For Coach Hurley and the Sun Devils. I mean, UCLA. I mean, you look at it. Pig Johnson got the start last night. Was in the starting lineup last night as who was out? Anyway, not going to pause. But yeah, he led the team with 20 points, but he also had three other guys in double figures as Masamba Diop had 15. Andre Grabovich had 13. Mo Odom had 10. Little tough night shooting for Mo. It was 3 for 12 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3, but 4 for 5 from the line. Check out Pig Johnson, 3 for 9 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3. But where do I say you guys need to clean up on the road? The free throw line. And he was 14 of 14 because this young man will force the issue, as we've seen. You saw last night, he can force the issue, but again, draw the fouls, and man, just absolutely awesome to see him do that. I was like, at one point, I'm like, man, I think he's like 9 for 9. Like he's like 10 for 10. They were, he was at the free throw line. They hadn't mentioned it. And go figure. It was 9 for 9. And I mean, like 10 for 10 at that point. But 14 from the free throw line. The Devils, guys, 25 of 26 from the free throw line, 96%. Yes, it's a bummer. It's in a loss. But, well, the 96% is a bummer. It's a bummer, yes, that it's in a 13-point loss. But UCLA, I mean, they went to the free throw line 22 times. They were 18 to 22. They shot 82%, which, again, when you're at home, you know me. You're above 75, which I think should be 80. But anyway, you get it. And, I mean, wow. So 96% from the field, but they were just 15% from 3. I mean, again, some of that you're playing catch up, and they did make runs. I mean, 36 points in the paint, 13 off the bench, 14 points off turnovers, and they turned over UCLA 8 times. 14 second chance points. 14 second chance points for the Devils, which, again, you like to see. Want to be getting them, but 11 offensive rebounds, and they had 35 total rebounds. So hanging in the game. They did not lead at all in the game. They never took the lead. But who else had a big game, guys? And we talked about this yesterday. Man, absolutely. 14 from the free throw line. The Devils, guys, 25 of 26 from the free throw line, 96%. Masamba Diop last night, guys, 15 points for this young man. 5 of 7 from the field. No 3-pointers. And we know he can hit it if he needs to, but no 3-pointers. Oh, and another 100% from the free throw line. 5 for 5, so 15 points. 7 boards. And did he have a block shot? I think he. Oh no, he did not have. He did have 1 block shot. Yes, sorry. I remember seeing that. Yes. So, but man, again, like I said, the ceiling for this kid. They talk about it. Absolutely money. I mean, crazy high. I mean, it's awesome to see because, like I said, you go 5 for 7 from the field, 5 for 5 from the line. 14 points off turnovers, and they turned over UCLA 8 times. 14 chance points. And you look at, again, what he is able to do. And again, 25 of 26. And again, it's not picking us to singling out, but, and again, he was 80% from the line, but Mo Odom was 4 for 5. So you had Pig Johnson at 14 of 14, Masamba Diop at 5 for 5. Andre Grabovich was 2 for 2, and then Mo Odom 4 for 5, 25 of 26. Again, trying to get back in the game. UCLA's made the plays. UCLA was up 12 at half. It was 45 to 43, or 33. Sorry, that would not be 12. It was 45, 43. That would be 2. There's a little Tucson math for you. School down south math for you guys. No, but they were UCLA led 45, 43, and then the Devils, I mean, put up 44 in the second half, but UCLA put up the same. They put up 45. So, man, it was just and they got to within 4. I think it was like 2 or 3 times they got to within. They're making the start back. They get to within 4, and they just couldn't get. It's just you say them, score here, make a play here, and then just not get that extra stop. But you like the. The battle, obviously, of ASU, but man, like I said, 96% from the free throw line. Absolutely phenomenal. It's tough silver lining. Yes, coaches, you can say you expect players to make free throws all you want. Guess what? Doesn't mean they always go in, but yes, to overstate the obvious. But I will say this for Bobby Hurley and the team last night against UCLA, it's just like last year. You want to see that fight, except last year it didn't turn into a lot of wins, which we know is frustrating Sun Devil fans. But this team, again, the personality of this team, like he says, able to make the substitutions, everything that he's able to do. Is just like I said, when you go 25 for 26 from line, you shoot 96% on the road. Many good things are going to happen for your season. So they're 9-3 right now, and again, Sunday the doubleheader, they will tip off at 1 against another old Pac-12, Pac-10, Pac-12 foe, Oregon State. So, and then the women, they start a league play, and I'm glad we're going to get to our guest shortly, but I'm glad we have him on, because for a coach to put up the numbers she's putting up, and like I said yesterday, it always pains me to bring it up, but I mean, what Tommy Lloyd did down in Tucson when he first got hired at U of A, I mean, Molly Miller, it's 2 different schools, is on a stretch like that, but she's also on a stretch like that here at ASU. And I mean, yes, transfer portal, whatever, chemistry's got to work out. There's still things, coach wants to fix, but it's always beautiful. Like she said, when you're fixing it, the players have said, when you're able to fix it through winning. Yes, you might learn a lot more from losing at times, but you don't have to lose. But they will start Big 12 play Sunday here at DFA. Their game's at 5:00. The men play at 1:00. Guys, come on out here. Nothing better to spend a fun Sunday fun day. Plus, I'll be here, so you want to spend it with me anyway, right? So inevitably, that's what they have coming up. Football, bowl game. We'll hear from Derek Eusebio a little bit later in the show. But we're going to step aside. I promise you guys this. And we're going to step aside, and a Hall of Fame coach joining me. See, I do have friends. I mean, they take pity on me, but not too much pity, because I went to the right school in the state of Arizona. So we'll step aside when we get back, while the NJCAA Hall of Fame coach, Joe Kirsting, joining us. So don't go too far. More coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caracino at Diablo00 on X, the artist formerly known as the Twitter. You can check out the show live there, as you know, every day, 12 to 1, Monday through Friday. Also, my IG, michael.caracino.5. Yes, and the good old YouTube channel. Watch live, but subscribe, because if you're here live, you're lucky now. But if you're not, then guess what? You would be lucky you subscribe, because you can see the interview with the NJCAA Hall of Fame head coach. I want to say the winningest coach in the Valley. There he is. Head coach Joe Kirsting joining me. Coach, man, thanks for taking the time. I know you've had a busy week. First of all, glad to see you. Glad everything's going smooth. But thanks for jumping in, coming back on this phenomenal Sun Devil show.
Well, thank you, Michael, and Merry Christmas to you and all your subscribers. Great to see you, buddy.
Yes. Well, I know you heard me before the break. I mean, we'll talk football in the bowl game in a second, but Molly Miller, I mean, coming in here, winning 13 in a row. They're 13-0, last 3 on the road. Last year, she had a 30-game win streak. So in her last, between last year and this year, she is 45-3. 32-3 last year, all year at GCU, had the 30-game win streak, fell in the first round of Baylor. And then, yeah, I get transfer portal, like I mentioned, Coach, but I mean, you're a coach, different sport, fine, but you know what coaches go through. I mean, to get a team to mesh, and yes, working through things with wins, but when you hear a number like that, and I mentioned Tommy Lloyd, and I always, again, you know me, I might not like a team, but I pay respects. I mean, I think he was like 44-6 or 46-4 in his first 50 in Tucson, which, I mean, that's just insane at this level. But Molly Miller, I mean, wow. I mean, 45-3 in her last 48 games.
Incredible. Some coaches, they are able to connect quickly with the athletes and get the culture built very quickly. When I took over the program at Glendale, they were on, a couple of bad years in a row when we took it over, and we only won 3 games our first year. But the next year we go undefeated and win a national championship. I mean, it took us, 2 good years to try to get that culture changed. But we didn't have a transfer portal back then, or a lot of money to offer people either. So, and the other thing is identifying people that are not only good athletes, but that fit your program and fit your expectations and standards. Yeah. And when I think about recruiting more than anything else, we used to say, is he big enough to play the position? Is he fast enough to play the position? If you say yes to both of those, what is his character? We're looking for men of character that want to be the best version of themselves. And obviously she's got it figured out for her program for sure.
Well, and one thing you always said to me too, and I know, you said it many a times, and hearing multiple coaches say it, but the staff you put together. I mean, she got an alum, and Stephanie Norman, who was rolling in Louisville, to come back here. She's got other coaches that were head coaches, and that's what I wanted to ask you too, because I mean, you're a head coach, and yeah, your first year in, but I mean, if you surround yourself with other head coaches, if things start, sliding, it's almost like, oh, wow, they're definitely not really worried about their job because they're bringing in others that have head coaching experience. But surrounding yourself like with the staff, like you said, connecting with the players in this day and age, hitting the recruiting trail hard, energy, whatever, but showing your why. But when you're putting a staff together, I mean, to have former head coaches on it that can, do the job but are like focusing on what they need to do, how big is that for a staff and for a head coach?
Well, you're always trying to find the best people that you can find. And if I'm hiring people that don't know more than me, that isn't helpful. I need to see people that can help me grow too. So, and it takes also, I think a person with strong character, strong self-esteem to be able to hire people that have already had head coaching experience, because, that can be challenging to people if they don't have, good self-worth and get intimidated by other people that are highly respected. And, I've coached at the major college, junior college, and high school level. And the higher I've gone up, the less I see that. But at other levels, you kind of see, because people are a little bit unsure of themselves, and they're still trying to make a name for themselves. And and I was that way when I first started coaching. My first year as a head coach, we win 3 games. Am I any good? Do I know what I'm doing here? And but you got to stick to your convictions and keep working the grind. As they say, and the process worked out for us.
Yeah, saying it worked out. Over 115 wins. I had it in the notes here, and I know it might be from a minute ago. I don't want to shortchange you, but 115, 45-2, 11 bowl appearances, 14 bowl appearances, 3 national titles, 11 bowl wins. And yes, folks, he's the man I say. And when I talk to, obviously, Sun Devil linebackers coach, who he's very familiar with, AJ Cooper, I started calling the Valley of the Sun Bowl the Glendale Invitational, and he said I wasn't allowed to say that to his players, or I would not be granted any interviews. So I didn't want to test it. I only said it to you, Coach. But no, we all saw what you did. And you mentioned the transfer portal on the way in. That's why I wanted to. Another reason why I want to talk to you, because I know we kind of brought it up last time, and it's been a minute, but it's just like that beast of what is college football now, the transfer portal. And yes, people get the NIL and the money side of it, but I was talking to someone the other day. We're talking. I go, if they've been a winning junior college coach, I go, if I'm a Division I school, I said I'm looking at a junior college coach as to lead the program. Yeah, I go, yes, there's things that come there. I said they had a recruit. I go, you're literally recruiting every year. I go, look, when JUCOs first started, yes, everybody knew it was because athletes pretty much on both sides. Very few were not just because they didn't like their offers, but didn't have the grades to qualify. So yes, the junior college way was a route to, they did well in high school, but get them back on track and go. They were there 2 years. I go, but then it shifted in to players in a lot of sports were, and we can focus on football, not happy with their offers. They were qualifiers like, hey, I'll go play here for 1 year. I like this coach. This program wins, and I'll move on. But I say that all to you because having to basically recruit your team, and you're not really re-recruiting. If a guy's eligible and after 1 year he gets an offer, well, you did your job. So, which is awesome. But just in that aspect of it, what kind of advantage do you feel it would give a coach? Because yes, it is tough to have to keep re-recruiting your team when guys get here. When you get to the 4-year level, you coach at that level too, but what kind of advantage do you think a junior college coach would have in this, like Kenny Dillingham called the chaos system that it is?
It is a chaos system, no doubt. And, that's where relationships come in. You have got to attract people that believe in your vision, and then develop a relationship with them and get them to trust you in a very short period of time. And as a junior college coach, I wanted to get guys onto our campus as fast as we possibly could, be in front of them, talking to them, coaching them, encouraging them, mentoring them, not just myself, but our entire staff, so that they understood that we're all in this together. And the more they feel that this is a part of them, the more likely they're going to stay with you. If they're just there to use the system and move on, that's going to happen. And for our sake at Glendale, we hoped that was going to happen often, but most of the time we were trying to get guys that fit what our vision was all about. And sometimes, Mike, I would take a lesser athlete that I knew had the right character traits that were going to really buy into what we were all about. I think the biggest reason we won at Glendale was player development. I think we got guys a lot better over the time that they were there. But the other part of it is we were more of a team than most of the teams. I think just about than all the teams that we played against. And guys, when you talk to guys after they've left Glendale and you get feedback from them, most of them say the best time in their athletic life was when they were playing for the Gauchos at Glendale Community College.
Oh, well, I mean, I can attest to that. They were some of the funner practices I got to cover when, I'm like, oh, this is relaxing, a little crazy junior college access, maybe a teeny bit more than I'd get at the, D1 level. But, I've gotten more and more as you've seen throughout the years. But to my point with that, like you said, when you're taking athletes, but dealing with the transfer portal and players that are going to leave, you obviously don't want them to leave. But I mean, a junior college coach having dealt with that, what kind of like I said, what kind of advantage do you think it would give him if working in that crazy level? Because like you said, junior college, there's really no transfer portal. I mean, if a kid's going to leave, he's going to have to figure it out somewhere else.
Well, we had to look at every year as a unique year. It's a whole new. Basically, it's a whole new team. Even though we would get returning freshmen on the team as sophomores, but there are so many more new personalities that you have got to create that culture every single year. And I did watch again your interview with Coach Cooper recently, and what he talked about, the leadership of the older guys is really so critical. So if you bring in the right guys in, and they've got that work ethic and they got that mentality of team first and things like that, that just makes it easier for the newer guys to get on board. But in terms of transfer, that was our main job at Glendale. Besides trying to have a quality team, is help these guys go on and get a degree and go get an education somewhere. So we were all about getting them to the best opportunity that they could have. And that's what the transfer portal is all about too. I hate to see a Sam Levitt leave an ASU football program. But if he makes that decision, I'm going to help him. I'm going to help him do the best he can at getting to what he feels is best for his future. And then obviously we got to replace that guy and bring in the best guy we can to fill that need.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is madness. And from the Division I side, I mean, I've asked Coach Dillingham. I mean, even Coach Iguano, who I don't know, running backs come in, coach, and they just become 1,000-yard rushers under Coach Iguano. So whatever he's got, in his Ohana, the family food, I always ingest. I'll kid around with them. But man, I mean, that's as like you said, I mean, staff, but producing it when it's a room where you're like, man, 3 or 4 guys could really carry the ball. There's another 1,000-yard rusher taking the brunt, and another running back coming in looking good. It's like, holy wow. But yeah, dealing with the portal. Like you said, and I mean, Coach Coop, yeah, he's always great to have on. Those linebackers, he's having fun with them. I said, man, coaching linebackers, I goes, that's what you can tell them how you used to light them up when you were playing.
AJ Cooper was one heck of a football player at the junior college level. Of course, went on to North Dakota State and did very well at that level as well. But I really enjoyed listening to him, and he has such a great story. For what he was able to accomplish as a player, and then parlay that into a great coaching career. I'm really proud of him. He makes Glendale look good. Makes me look like I knew what I was doing.
I think you knew what you were doing just a wee bit. I've seen it. And the bowl practices. I know we've talked in the past. I always hear coaches say it's bigger for the younger guys. I mean, quite a few guys that enter the transfer portal, and Coach Dillingham, I mean, same thing last year. Some guys did enter the portal, but they're out there practicing. They're out there, working with the team. But he's about getting, obviously, those younger guys, the snaps and stuff like that in development. And, yeah, I know the easy parts of the answer is yes, you get those extra practices. You get, depending on how far out years, but even if you're playing in the college football playoff, but a regular bowl game, the development for those young guys. You as a coach, you guys as a staff, when you got those extra practices and you saw the players that were, that came back for next year, yes, you're trying to win your bowl game, but you kind of gave young guys more reps during those because, again, building the depth like you guys always had to do. How big is that for them? Like just for them and just, their development, even going forward, getting ready for the next season, whether, they're moving on, maybe they did get an offer and they're moving on, but just how big are those bowl practices when you get to look at it from that standpoint of developing the younger guys?
They're enormous. When you look at different sports, you got basketball that plays 30-plus games a year. Baseball, they play what? I don't know what they play in college, 50, 60 plus games a year.
Yeah,
nowadays.
they got about
But you can get a lot better in the games in those sports. Football, we play 11, 12 now, which is a lot, games a year. So you have to get better in practice. That's where you get better. Yeah, we got to play the games, and there's nothing like game reps. But we can't get more game reps if we're not in a bowl game.
Right.
So that chance of another 2-3 weeks, whatever it might be, of getting practice time that is as close to game reps as possible, especially for young guys, it's just enormous. You know, as a coach, you're trying to balance the safety of practice,
right,
with as close to game-like conditions as possible, which is a fine line. It's a very fine line because you can't lose guys, man. If you lose guys in practice, that's going to really devastate your team. So it's an important way of how to practice. You got to teach them how, and that was one of the things that as a junior college program, we got so many new freshmen every year. You got to teach them how to practice. They don't know how to practice on the college level. There's a level of intensity, but there's also this level of we got to take care of each other too. I used to be a free safety, and when I got a shot to hit a guy that was crossing over the middle of the field, I was going to take it in practice because I need to show my stuff. Okay, well, that was a mentality back in the 70s when I played. You had to prove that. Hey, I don't want those guys taking those shots on our own teammates in practice. We know you're there. We know you're tough. You wouldn't be here. One thing I'll tell you about Glendale Community College, and this was before I ever coached there, they always had tough guys. Yeah. Always had tough guys. And so if we could raise the level of the athlete and combine that with the toughness, we would be fine. So we would have typically 1, maybe 2 scrimmages a year. We had one session of what we used to call the Oklahoma drill, where we just lined up on each other and find out who's tough. And then after that practice, we looked at each other and the coaches said, we're tough. We don't need to prove it. They'll prove it every Saturday.
Right. And let me ask you that too, because I know in this day and age, a lot of fans from the outside, whether they've, played whatever level they may have played up to or at. And when I watch at times, and I know I used to say it to you, like, everybody understands that point. There needs to be, some kind of, like you used to say, like thud and popping in practice. Because again, if you don't do it, the other side of that, and I know you feel this way because you say, like, if you don't do a little bit of it, like you get to Saturday, you might be tough, but you might get punched for a good quarter and a half before it's like, oh, okay, like, yeah, we need to do this. But in saying that, when you look at the tackling part of it, and it just seems like so many guys come in and it's like they're trying to rip a ball away before tackling. And it's like when you hear it, and I just listen to people and they'll say certain things, whether, it's here at, an ASU game or watching pro ball, the fundamentals of tackling, haven't changed, but guys being able to do it. And I know people, especially in the NFL, say, well, they never want to hit in practice. Why would we think that they can tackle? Like, what's the balance and toughness just in that? Because again, especially at the college level, you only get them for a certain amount of hours a week. And like you said, well, we're not sitting there trying to, keep slamming each other's heads against a brick wall, but there has to be some physicality.
There's a pretty simple formula. The more bodies there are, the less live. The fewer bodies there are, the more close to live we can go. So if we have a drill where it's just one-on-one,
okay,
and there's aren't other bodies flying around, we can go about as live as we need to in that situation. When it gets to 3-on-2 or 3-on-3, then we can be a little more live. But when we get to 11-on-11, we got to back off more because, right. You come off the ball full go, and the play starts that way full go. But then when it gets to the point of contact with either the ball carrier, receiver, whatever, then we need to be in position, but we back off. Now, the big thing I used to emphasize defensively was the proper angle to the football. See, a lot of times there's missed tackling because guys don't keep the proper angle to the football. If you are supposed to be inside out on the ball. Say an inside linebacker in most plays, like an outside zone or a stretch play or a counter type of whatever. You got to keep that angle to the football. As long as you keep that angle, your tackling will be much easier. When that guy if you get too far and overly aggressive and he's head up on you, now he's got what we call a three-way go. He can run over you or attempt to, or he can go to your right or to your left. But when you keep the proper angle, now he either can try to outrun you, which if he tries to, we should have another dude on our team coming from the outside in, squeezing it, and that's what we call vice tackling. We so emphasize, where's the vice? Where's our vice? Okay, now the only time we don't have a vice is if it's in the open field, and then we try to count on the sideline, and hopefully we got a sideline close by that we can use as our next defender to try to force that receiver or ball carrier out of bounds. But angles is so critical, and that's where I see the biggest mistakes is angles. And the next biggest mistake is not wrapping the guy up. The first dude's got to wrap him. Okay, the next guy can come for the strip, but the first dude, you have no responsibility to try to take the ball away. Your first job is to get the guy bundled up, wrap him up, and then your teammates come and try to knock the ball, so rip it out or whatever. And believe me, I don't want to brag, but I'm gonna. We never had a negative turnover ratio in my coaching career.
That's funny. I was about to say that to you when I was
coordinator. We never had one, and we only had one losing season in all those careers. So, if you can win the turnover battle on a season-long basis, you got a chance to have a pretty darn good football team.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I look at it again, the turnover battle and flipping field position, because I know you'll play that game, especially with the defenses that you guys had all day long. But yeah, so the first Saturday of December, I always, feel a little nostalgic because the Valley of the Sun Bowl was not here. But I was looking at a wonderful piece of memorabilia I had and realized, oh my gosh, it's the 20-year anniversary of this. The 2005 championship team that won, obviously, your third NJCAA national title.
Well, here it is, buddy. That team just got put into the Glendale Community College Hall of Fame. We had a 20-year reunion in the middle of November. Had a great turnout. All the guys. This was their motto. I didn't make this one up. G's up.
Yep.
G's up. One of the guys on the team came up with that, and they just started pounding G's up, G's up. And on social media and all over the place, you still see G's up if you go anywhere around Glendale Community College football. But we had a great time. We surprised them by getting them inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was amazing, and that game, I lost more hair in that national championship game than any game I think I've ever coached.
Oh, I was there.
We had a big lead. We were playing great, and then the fourth quarter came, and we couldn't do anything right, especially on offense. Not only turned the ball over, but I think we gave up 2 pick sixes and a block kick for a touchdown, and we ended up winning 50-48.
Well, the block kick for the touchdown was their first score. It was Grand Rapids' first score.
Was it?
In the fourth quarter, yeah, you're right. There was 2 of the making plays, and it was a Valley of the Sun Bowl fireworks show. But coach, that is awesome. And I figured, I'm like, man, and obviously, MCTV went that battle way, not doing different things, but man, you did. I would have showed up for the 20-year anniversary of that. You didn't tell me, Coach.
Well, I thought about you, but I figured you were working with the Sun Devils. So,
hey,
I definitely thought about you.
Either way, no, it was awesome. Like I said, I'll go back and look at highlights. I'll see certain things like memories, and I'm like, oh, I remember that game. That was, it was crazy. When you look back at that, like you said, the 88 team, I get it, three wins the year before. You come back and it was played on, that game was a Thanksgiving night game, which, feeling, it's like, it's just like the pros. Let's play on Thanksgiving, but it was rainy. And the cool thing about that, well, it was a bummer because you got an injury, but you had what was it, a third string tailback that blew up that night?
We had two really outstanding running backs on that team. And Conrad Swanson was our tailback, and Robert Latona was our fullback. We were a two-back offense back in the 1980s. And Conrad, on the second or third play of the game, blows out his knee. Didn't get touched. He just went to make his famous cutback move, and his foot stuck in the ground. It was a real wet night there, and the knee just kept on going, and he's out for the game. So we had Travis Cutright, who was his backup, who played some tailback and played some wing. We were the wing T back in those days. Played some wing back for us as well. He comes into the game, and lo and behold, he scores 2 touchdowns for us. Just had a great night replacing Conrad, and our defense was phenomenal that game. We didn't give up a point on defense. The way they scored, they blocked an extra point, scooped it, and ran it all the way back for 2 points. So we actually scored on special teams. Muhammad Oliver, who was an All-American for us, ended up playing in the NFL. Played at Oregon in the NFL. In fact, his son right now I don't know if his one son is still in the NFL. He was a cornerback, and he's got another son that played at one of the East Valley schools, a great wide receiver. Yep. I can't remember. I don't know his first name, but I think he's going to Notre Dame, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Oliver's his last name. I'm not sure his first name. But anyway, Muhammad blocked the punt and blocked it out of the end zone. We got 2 points out of that. Ended up winning by the weird score of 15-2. Right. So I had my first national championship game. We win 15-2, and the last one we win 50-48.
What about that 2000 national championship team? Because that was the
2000. I had left Glendale after the '96 season, and I went up to NAU because my dream in life, goal for my career, was to be a head coach at Northern Arizona University, where I had played, and I'd been a graduate assistant and an assistant. And Steve Axman was the head coach at the time. He had done very well, having good success, and he had asked me several times if I would leave Glendale to come and be an assistant for him. And the last time he talked to me about that, he said, "Look, I'm not staying here at NAU much longer. If and when I leave, I will recommend you for the head coaching job." And so I accepted his offer. I became the defensive back coach and special teams coordinator and also recruiting coordinator. And lo and behold, after that season, we were 6-2 actually, and we had just beaten Montana, which NAU beating Montana doesn't happen very often, and so it was a huge win for us. So we're riding high, going into the last 3 games of the season, got a good chance to win them all, and we lose every single one of our last 3 games, and end up 6-5. And after the season, Coach Axman ended up resigning, was kind of forced out, I guess, by the administration. I ended up actually being interviewed for the head coaching job, but didn't get it. I returned to Glendale in my teaching position. I was on the faculty there and had taken a leave of absence. So I came back to Glendale, and Mike Grossner then was the head coach. And Mike had been my assistant for several years. He was our offensive coordinator for several years. So anyway, I went up to Mike right before the 2000 season. I guess it was like in the spring of 2000, and said, probably near this time of year of 1999. And I said, "Look, Mike, I'm really interested in coaching again." And his first response was, "Well, I already have a defensive coordinator." He had this guy named Brian Ward. And we know Brian Ward's pretty darn good defensive coordinator. We didn't know back in 1999 he was as good as he was going to become, but he was a heck of a coordinator. And I said to Mike, and Mike said that to me because I'd always coached defense. I'd always been, up to that point, I'd been a defensive coach. And I said, "Look, Mike, I've been studying offense quite a bit the last several years. I learned a lot from being on Coach Axman's staff. I said, I'd like to sit down with you and show you what I'm thinking about for an offense. And I'd like you to consider me as the offensive coordinator." So we had a good talk. He liked what I had put together, and he hires me as the offensive coordinator. Well, I go and recruit this quarterback out of Horizon High School. You ever heard of that school, that Horizon High School? Named Steve Coda.
Yep.
6'4" guy with a gun and the most incredible field vision of any quarterback I'd ever been around. And we put in this 4 wide receiver offense that Glendale had never run before. We had some 2-back stuff as well, but our primary offense was to spread them out, run a lot of fly motion stuff, and throw the ball. And we threw it well. We threw it very well. And excuse me, we had a tough loss to Dixie fairly early in the season. I want to say around the 3rd or 4th game of the season. And then we go win the rest of our games. So we end up 9-1 going into the bowl game. And on the last weekend of the regular season, everybody in front of us in the poll loses. And we didn't have a playoff system. Junior college still doesn't have a playoff system. But we end up either ranked 2nd or 3rd in the nation in the final poll. And we already have a commitment from Garden City Junior College to come out and play us in the Valley of the Sun Bowl, and they're ranked number 1. So we knock off Garden City, we got a chance to pop up and win a national championship. And lo and behold, everything fell for us on that day. But at that time, they started playing all the bowl games on the first Saturday in December, just like you said. Before that, the Valley of the Sun Bowl was always a Thanksgiving Day deal. So we played them on that, I'm not sure what day it was, December 3rd, I think maybe, in 2000. And it was one of the best defensive games I'd ever been around. Coach Ward's defense was phenomenal, held Garden City to 1 score. We were not very good on offense, but we made enough plays to get in position to kick 2 long field goals. And then we had a big play, kind of a special play. It wasn't a trick play of any sort, but we put in a play for that game because their defense loved to come and press you and play really tight man coverage. Well, we had a slot receiver named Mark Marcos who was as fast as anybody I'd ever coached. I coached a few guys that had been in the NFL, some 4.2, 4.3 kind of guys, and Marcos was that kind of guy. And so we put in a special formation where he was the split end, and we put a trips to the other side. And all we did was we're going to run a fade route with him. And sure enough, we got him in the defense we wanted. Coda saw it, great quarterback that he was. We're licking our chops like, okay, this is what we need right here. He throws a perfect fade ball. Their guy goes to try to knock the ball away, misses the ball, trips up, falls over. Marcos catches it, goes about 60 for a touchdown, and we win 13-7. So it wasn't a great offensive job by the offensive coordinator, but we scored enough. And Brian Ward, he got us a national championship that day.
Well, okay, to piggyback on that, I mean, I know, and we talked about before, I mean, you working with Coach Ward, and I mean, obviously he always has very glowing things to say about when that year at Glendale, and like I said, Coach Cooper, I would tease him with Coach Cooper that, he's a gaucho, but he's like, he always feels, he likes that he was both a bear and a gaucho. And but I mean, when you look at, I mean, again, like what he's done with this defense, I mean, Abney yesterday just declared for the NFL. I mean, a corner, how he's grown, and talking about, working with Coach Ward. Miles Rouser, the safety, I mean, transfer guy, 2 years going to the NFL. Xavier Alford declared himself for the draft. But I mean, like you said, I mean, back then, obviously you can say, okay, the guy can, put together a defense, but what are some of the things, I mean, some of the fun that you had, like working with Coach Ward and to see how he's grown and what, I mean, the ASU defense has done the last 2 years. I mean, when
I met Brian Ward, he turned out to be the most competitive coach I think I'd ever been around. He wanted to win everything. And he was a real young guy, obviously, at the time. And so, I mean, it was a challenge as an offensive coach, especially here I am the first time designing and running an offense of my own, and not something that I borrowed from somebody else. And I'm trying to attack this guy who has the most aggressive defense I've ever tried to go against in my life. And that's what we're facing in practice every day. Well, if we can move the ball against his defense, we had a chance to be pretty good. And he because of his style, then you developed and had great speed within your system. You had to have great speed. So he's always had a system built on speed and athleticism. And now over the years, he's been able to take and learn more and do more with zone concepts and zone blitzes and as well as using the all-out type of man pressure stuff that he loved from the very beginning. And now he's got the whole gamut. And so when an NFL team sees a player in his system, they can say, look, these guys are doing everything we're already doing in the NFL. So they can watch them on tape. They can watch them in practice and see the techniques and see the fundamentals that those players need to have to be successful at that pro level. I shouldn't call it the pro level. They're all pros now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to an extent, yes, to an extent. It's that's one thing. I mean, Coach Dillingham has said about the chaos of it, but he goes, the business and the money are just getting bigger and bigger. For people to say college football isn't popular, they're like, then they just don't get it. He goes, that part's there. It's just the transfer portal window, the re-recruiting of your, own players. And I just think, and, I mean, I get a chuckle out of it. I get it. But like when, players are like, they're not transferring, but they all put out there like, oh, I'll be back and, we're coming back and this and that. Like it's, to me, like it is what it's become. You're right. But for Coach Ward, like I said, I asked him, I go, so did you beat up on Coach Kersing's offense? You're like, it was a challenge. I go, I don't know. He even said back then you were very, very competitive. But yeah, his son is actually on the staff as Gradison, helping out with actually he's working with Coach Tui Tele in the offensive line.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's, you worked with a lot of the coaches, and you had I think I was in your top 2 or 3 of favorite JUCO broadcasters. So I'll take that too.
That's for sure, Michael.
What I'll get you out of here on this before you get out of here. When you look at like Coach Dillingham, I mean, obviously now every time a job comes up, when you turn a program around and doing it in the time he did, I mean, the first year, 3-9, but if you look at the laundry list of injuries, and like you said, he said too, he couldn't do anything in practice because you don't want to lose any more bodies. Like you can't, you got to get to that point where like, okay, we're going to just do this and this and this in practice. And that's, we're not losing any more bodies. But when your name, when a coach's name keeps constantly coming up, and people get the whole business part, leverage, and whether they say, people like, Kenny Dillingham loves it here. I'm like, of course he loves it here. I'm like, but you also got to, somebody's going to offer, if somebody's going to make an offer, I mean, not your agents at least got to listen. But how tough is that for, I mean, the rest of the staff in general when a coach's name, and granted, you guys have open dialogues, everybody gets that, but it's constantly like, oh, he's going to go to Michigan, or oh, LSU's going to offer a Brinks truck, or whatever. How tough is that on the staff? I mean, it's a compliment, obviously, because you're doing a hell of a job, but how tough is that just on you and a staff?
Well, quite frankly, Michael, it's what pretty much kept me in junior college football, because I had the opportunity to be at that major college level. I was there for a short period of time, and it's a merry-go-round. It's if you're really successful, guess what? You're probably leaving because your head coach is probably getting a better job. If you're not successful enough, you're probably leaving because the head coach is getting fired.
Right.
So you're constantly, there are very few jobs where, okay, this guy's our head coach. He's going to be the head coach for the next 15, 20 years, and I'm stable and I can live here and raise my family in one place. It doesn't happen. It rarely happens.
Right.
So it's a really difficult career. It can be very, very lucrative nowadays. I mean, it's amazing the kind of money that they're making. But, with the pressure and with the strain that it puts on a family life, I think it's, it makes sense that you got to pay these people very, very well. And I think I don't know Coach Dillingham. I've never met him. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from outside in. But I think probably more than anything, what he's doing now is trying to help his assistant coaches get their salaries up, try to keep them on board, keep the stability in his program at ASU. I think he wants to be at ASU. I'm almost positive he wants to be at ASU. But you're right. If these, let's face it, if in the next 2 years they don't aren't successful at ASU, ASU is going to get rid of him. I mean, that's the nature of the beast.
Right.
It's just the way it is. So you're in a real hard place to try to say, yeah, I want to be a Sun Devil and I want to stay here and I want to do all this. But if they don't make it a great job for you to do that, and the great job obviously is helping your assistants be in stable positions where they're not leaving your staff, and helping your players or helping you in the recruiting process to keep the players and have enough finances to bring in the players now, the way the whole system works, that you can compete. Because let's face it, it's become a money game. And, you lose a Sam Levitt. You're not losing Sam Levitt because you're giving him more money than somebody else is giving him,
Right. Well, I mean, and to the Levitt point, I said it wasn't because, I mean, he did donate a lot of his money, his NIL stuff back into the collective, into the program. But, there were some other things that were, said there more so from a thing. But, look, Cam Dyer, I mean, they gotta, I mean, Jeff Sims, this young man stayed here, knew he was going to be a backup, and Coach, Dillingham's talked about his character and how he grew. And I mean, 3-1 as a starter. And of course, yeah, Coach, I'm still obviously a little sore, a little tender from his only loss.
I'm sure of that. Yeah.
That school down south, but they had a good team. Danny Gonzalez, another coach that I've, man, you talk about somebody. I know I used to tell you, like, he could rip stuff off in a prep. You ask one question and he could, if he hit a point, he'd he could go back through every play of the game that he called. I was like, this is insane. Like, I get top level coaching and I've seen stuff like, yes, they remember a lot and you do a lot. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but yeah, it's, Danny Gonzalez on the staff there. Oh, he's a good guy. It's good to see him. I always tell him it's torturous to see him in those colors though, Coach, as you know.
I understand.
But, like for Sam Levin, people, quarterbacks and players just transferring. I guess I'd have to listen, or I'd have to, if I saw the road. But when I was playing, and again, it has nothing to do with, you're talking about back then. But even now, like, I'm coming to play for you. Yeah, you as a coach, if you're gone, if they let you go, if you're gone, then I might be like, because everybody says, it's got, what about what the school and the programs offer? Okay, yes, that is important. Not saying it's not, but I'm still coming to play for you. You go. I'm like, well, there's a good chance I'm going to leave too. Like, I came to play for a coach and a staff, so. I get the other side of that coin. But yeah, I just, like I said, all the years of the junior college was talking to you. And I mean, even just for different sport coaches talking to Coach, stuck in volleyball. It's literally like, if you have a huge freshman class, you're like, okay, great. I don't need much for next year, but in 2 years, I'll need that. Or it's just a flip mostly in football. Cause I look at a football team. I mean, literally say half the team is new and the other half of the team's back from last year for you guys. So it's just
Mike, we had a goal in recruiting every year. We got to get 50. We got to get 50 solid athletes that can play for us. Or if they work hard,
right.
If they make the commitment, they work hard, they got a chance to play for us. And what happens in the junior college level is about 65% of those 50 guys end up actually playing for us. They find out how hard it is. They find out what the commitment level is like. They see that they're number 3 or 4 in the depth chart coming in, and they can't handle that, and so they go by the wayside, and that's okay. That's okay. But we weren't going to lower our standards. We were going to recruit this many guys. We're going to set what the standard was. I remember when I went to someone's home or to their school, I'd always make this statement: I'm looking for the best. I want people that want to be the best. Now, as I've gotten older and I've read more and learned more, the best version of yourself is what I'm all about. We want you to be that best version.
Right.
And if you've got the work ethic and the commitment and the desire, come on, man, let's go. Let's go, because that's what we're all about. And it wasn't just on the football field. You know, we wanted people to be the best version of themselves as a student. You know, the biggest story when they dropped junior college football here in Arizona, the biggest story that came back to me over and over and over again was, Coach, if it wasn't for Glendale, I wouldn't be where I'm at in life. If it wasn't, there was a guy at our reunion who he searched me out after kind of things were winding down, and he got right next to me and said, Coach, if it wasn't for Glendale and it wasn't for Coach Bell and you and Glendale football, I wouldn't be alive today. And he attributed those life lessons that he's able to learn and the opportunity to get an education and to apply himself. And now he's got a great job. He's a police officer. He's, you know, just a wonderful man. And, you know, those things don't happen unless opportunity comes your way.
Right.
And now look at how many young men are not from this state and this county are not getting an opportunity for that.
Right.
Sad.
Well, and, you know, I had Coach Ward on last week and a half ago, and he, you know, we talk a little bit about it at the end as we were winding down, and he's like, yeah, you know, it's just the opportunity. I go, yeah, Coach Kersing would say, I go, even, you know, I hear from Coach Bell or Coach Mandowski how, like, you know, some kid, you know, comes in here and, yeah, they might start out third or fourth on the depth chart, but they work their way up. But outside of that, they had an opportunity. They're still playing, and then it opened up other opportunity. Obviously, education, getting their education. But yeah, no, Coach Ward was like, yeah, that's still a tough one to swallow, because they did pretty well in the JUCO in the recruiting cycle. They got a guy. Was it defensive line, offensive lineman, a flip from Georgia to ASU? So
Nice.
I mean, come on, who really wants to be in Georgia anyway? No, I'm just kidding. A little kidding there, but no, it's like I said, I mean, all those years covering it, like people say, oh, you know, you've called these games and that, and you always say the junior college games. I go, yeah, there were some games, but I go, there were a lot of coaches that moved a lot of players on in different sports. And I go, you know, I used to tease Coach Stuck. I was like, man, you know, if things were iffy here at ASU or Coach Mannix, I'm like, come on, man, how come you don't put your name in the hat there? I know. She's like, because Coach Stuck, I remember, looked at me and said, she goes, as great as it would be, she's like, Michael, that recruiting trail. And I was like, yeah, it's a little different here at this level. I get it. I go, but she goes, but I go, you trade that for, okay, you might not be getting that player, but you're developing and you're getting certain, and they're, you know, it's more so the coaching and developmental side. I said, so I go, I get it, Coach, but I go, it's crazy. Like I said, that there's still no junior college football. I'll drive by like schools and I'll see fields and I'm just like, makes no sense.
Nope, it doesn't. It's sad.
Well, you are the best coach. And again, glad to see you doing well. Yes, I know another, well, next time you have an anniversary and I was around, just remember me for the teams. You know, I always, you know, was an honorary member. Not that I rooted against the other teams you played. If they went to the Sun Bowl and did well, hey, that was great for them. And I mean, Coach Mandowski, after you were gone, had that little bit of run too. But I will say this: it was always funny getting little sideline trinkets from Coach Bell. He might, like, if he was saying something, I just, you know, I was trying to listen. I'd just be walking down the other end of the field, or I'd stand there. He'd look over at me and say, "Hey, what do you think about that player? Huh? Pretty good." And I was like, "The answer is yes." Oh, like, is it a trick question, Coach? I go, but no, it's some of the most, like I said, awesome times in games. But and then, yeah, I mean, watching, like, just seeing how you coaches look at games. Like I always used to tell people, like, say it to Coach Ward, I go, man, we call some games together and we're watching the same game, and Coach has something, and I'm like, yeah, cool, I'll just agree. Where do you see it that way? Like, but no, it's just, I always appreciate you taking the time, and yes, have an awesome, phenomenal Christmas and holiday. I know obviously you got a lot of family around, and just don't get in too much trouble. But we'll catch up soon, Coach.
All right. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed it, Michael. Take care.
Absolutely.
Go Devils.
Oh, look at that. See, he even knows a pitchfork lunchers. That's right. But we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to wrap up. We're going to hear from Derek Eusebio. Spoke today after practice getting ready for the bowl game. So we will take a quick break and wrap up with Derek Eusebio on the other side here on Pitchfork Lunch. All right, we are back here on Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino. Forks up, yes, the great NJCAA Hall of Fame coach, Joe Kersey. He's getting different thoughts there. I mean, I had to ask him about Molly Miller to boot, and he's just saying, like, but he said it's there, surrounding myself with somebody who doesn't know more than me, that's a detriment to the development of the team. So, knowing and just constantly learning and evolving as a coach. And yeah, obviously forks up Coach Miller. As they get set for Big 12 play, they go through non-conference play unblemished. So 13-0, absolutely phenomenal. Let's see if we can shake up the Big 12. The only thing is, I mean, teams in the Big 12 now got notice. They're not going to take them all too lightly. So that in and of itself, again, like I said, very, very awesome. But yeah, we'll see, if they take the, so yeah, I'm again so stoked for just how they've played and come together as a team and the different players that have stepped up. And I mean, Gabby Elliott dropped 30 the other night, and I mean, was just, I mean, yeah, every level, even the free throw line scoring, just absolutely money. So yeah, that's So yeah, I mean that again, just very, very huge in and of itself. But speaking of huge, Derek Eusebio, this young man, phenomenal season. Obviously, going to be playing in the bowl game. You guys know it, former walk-on, and it's just what he's been able to do, what he's been able to accomplish, just absolute money. And the work he's put in. So we will hear from him. I'll let him get to that. But yeah, without further ado, we're going to wrap today on Derek Eusebio as we get ready for Duke in the Sun Bowl.
You know, I had no idea. K1, JT texted me the night before. He's like, I'm so proud of you, blah, blah, all this stuff. And I was like, what are y'all talking about like this? But they were like, you'll find out tomorrow. But no, yeah, it's just putting in that work like Coach Hines been telling all of us. Like, just putting in work. I mean, good things came out of it. And shoots, that wasn't even like on my any goals this year or anything. Just really just focusing on myself, getting better each day. And like shoots, that was just the outcome of it. So it's just super blessed to have that for sure.
When you look at the course of the season, where do you see that you made the biggest strides? You know, kind of from week 1 to the end.
Really just understanding my role. You know, so like whenever JT was out there, just trying to get whatever I could. You know, so like 1-2 catches, you don't really know how many you're gonna have in a game with JT. So just being ready for my opportunity, and then when JT was out, unfortunately, but trying to step up, trying to be that guy for Jeff, trying to be that guy, just trying to make plays. That's what our position is all about. Is just seizing opportunities and shoots. I kind of try and seize every opportunity I can. So just super blessed to have that for sure.
Of course, a lot of adversity what the offense faced this year with all the injuries going on. You mentioned guys stepping up, including yourself. How did you see kind of the offense, maybe the receivers room specifically, just kind of deal with kind of the week in, week out, the ups and downs?
Yeah, it started from off the jump. Like shoots, we haven't had a healthy room all year. Like just like behind us, all the freshmen, they've been hurt all year. Just like Moss goes out week 1, JT goes out like week 6 or 7. So you never you just always have to be ready. Hines tells all of us, just always be ready. You never know when your number's gonna be called. And shoot, like each of us have had opportunities to make plays. Malik had game against Houston. I had opportunities. Like Turbo had his opportunities. So it just really all of us have to be ready. So I think that's just a testament to Coach Hines, Coach Brady. Just they're working with us for sure.
How does all that progress, those lessons, battling through adversity, how do you feel that sets you up for next year?
I think it's great. I know, you never really know what happens in the future. You can't really control any of that stuff. So I just think it's great. Just put your head down and work. Like that's all. At the end of the day, every single time, work's gonna work. So I think it's just great to be able to come back. Get winter workouts, get ready with whoever is gonna be at the quarterback helm. So just getting back to work and just starting from the beginning. So it's just a brand new slate. So it's good to come back and work for that for sure.
We're looking ahead to the bowl game. Duke's defense, the ACC champion level team. What kind of jumps out to you about the Blue Devils?
Yeah, they create turnovers. They said they're top 20 in the nation for creating turnovers. So we have to work. That's something that we're not the best at. So we got to work on that. Not turn the ball over. Defense has to get some turnovers. We just got to play complementary football. Just go out there, just play our football, play our physical football, play with effort. I think we'll be all right. Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah.
And I know you said Derek lastly, obviously Coach Hines telling you guys got to be ready, but how do you feel? I mean, just in working with him, and the other receivers in the room, but working with Coach has grown your game the last few seasons.
I just think it's looking at him as a role model. Like he wasn't ever like biggest, strongest guy. Like he showed effort though. He was a big blocker and everything. So like if you really look at his model, his thing, they drafted first-round receivers after first-round receivers to come replace him. So shoots, like that's the same how I am. Like shoots, walk on, they're always gonna bring in guys trying to replace me. And shoots, that's really always, at the end of the day, like people, you just have to go to work and you just have to, and you gotta control what you can control. So you can't really control what other people have. You can't really control what your playing time is, how many catches you get. So it's just really just looking up to him. Like he really set the stage for me for me at least.
And there he is, Derek Eusebio. I had to get it in my Hines word, but putting the work in and taking advantage of opportunities. And, that's next man up. It's like, yes, it might not be, it's not the same player. Nobody's saying that they're, Jordan Tyson, or you guys get what I'm saying. But yeah, the work he's put in, just see it come to fruition. Having big catches this season. And obviously getting in the end zone. Shimon on his, it was a late season touchdown. Shimon Mateer just absolutely got out in the flat and just blasted the the defense back, springs a block. He blocks a one guy, basically sets a pick, and Eusebio takes it into the end zone. But yeah, just working hard. And like I said, I mean, new slate, and like Jeff Sims is going to start. Cam Dyer talked about him. See if he talked today. See if we get him on the show. After the bowl game, maybe after the bowl game, try and get him on the show, see what happens. But yeah, so that in and of itself, I mean, just Derek Eusebio talking about just working hard, and he goes, yeah, working with Hines Ward, who, like I said, maybe not, but obviously very quick, a fast guy, fast enough, maybe not the fastest, like you said, but you knew on the edge, and people say, well, he played in Pittsburgh. When Hines Ward was coming to block you, there's a lot of DBs that felt it. They always talk about making business decisions, about making tackles. If Hines was blocking him, shedding him wasn't really something that happened much to Hines Ward. So that in and of itself, absolutely awesome. So, but anyway, that's going to do it for today. A little bit of overtime there, but we had the Hall of Fame coach Kirsting on, so love obviously getting that. And yes, honoring the 20th anniversary of the 2005 National Junior College champs, the 2005 Glendale Gauchos. So absolutely awesome. But we're going to get out of here. Again, hope we got some of that thirst quenched, and a lot more of it to come again Sunday. Doubleheader, men's and women's hoops, DFA, graduations going on. So yeah, forks up to all the athletes graduating, and CJ Fight. Yes, forks up to you, young man. Absolutely awesome. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. And don't forget, at Diablo00 on X, RS20 known as the Twitter, the IG, Michael.Cartoon.5, the YouTube channel. Go subscribe, watch live, but go subscribe. It's at Emmons and Michael, V's and Victory C's and Champ 005 at MVC005 on YouTube, and subscribe away. But yes, it is hashtag our state. Thanks to reigning back-to-back Big 12 champs women's volleyball for always reminding me of that. It is hashtag our state, team down south. And by the way, as you guys know, go Devils. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow. And as always, you know it, forks up.
I went to Arizona State. Right. I'm a Sun Devil, man.
The 27-yard line. That's a great call. Blake Baker, Plummer will put it up, throws over the middle. Poole, touchdown. Quick flag.
3rd down and 5. Levitt swings it to Scadaboo. Scadaboo breaks defenders. Here he goes again. Scadaboo is the running back, and he is immediately met in the backfield, runs through the contact, and then throws a shoulder for good measure. Chuck this defense here. That is true. High in the air. Right center field. Brandon Compton. Welcome to 2025. Just run the other way. Still going back. The drag walks up and down.
Edwards pulls off and buries it. Richardson drives out for Robbie Ryan. Hurt 3 right on the money.
Takes his shot for Derby. Flag out. Doesn't matter.